Greetings folk, Helen here, founding director and wellbeing facilitator at Careness Plymouth CIC. So for today's offering I wanted to share an example of some of our resources. A few times a week we have a session called Quiet Resting Space, which is exactly what the name says on the tin. And we have a number of different materials and resources out in the space, and one of them includes this. Rest is resistance. So a dear friend of mine suggested that I have a read of this book. I haven't yet read it. It's by Tricia Hersey, and I'll just read the back initially. So it speaks: in this fierce and tender manifesto, Tricia Hersey, founder and creator of the NAP ministry, casts an illuminating light on our troubled relationship with rest, and shows us how to imagine and dream our way to a future where rest is exalted. Our worth does not reside in how much we produce, especially not for a system that exploits and dehumanizes us. Rest, in its simplest form, becomes an act of resistance and a reclaiming of power because it asserts our most basic humanity. With captivating storytelling and practical advice, Rest is Resistance is a call to action, a battle cry, and a field guide for all of us who are sleep deprived, searching for justice, and longing to be liberated from the oppressive grip of grind culture. I like that phrase. Okay, so I thought we'd do a little bit of reading together, so let's begin with the preface. Rest saved my life. This is my truth. I don't need anyone else to verify this, nor do I need complicated theories to support what I know to be true in my heart, my body, and my spirit. My pilgrimage with rest as a form of resistance and liberation practice is a deeply personal one. It is one that started way before anyone heard of the NAP ministry on social media. Resting was my attempt to solve a problem in my life, and like most black women before me, I worked within the realms of my own life and history to create a way. While in a brutally busy graduate program with financial issues, family illness, and the threat of racial violence always swirling around, I started to experiment with rest. My commitment to rest as a form of resistance came from my everyday experiences of being a part of the machine-level pace of our culture and surviving the trauma of the terror of poverty, exhaustion, white supremacy, and capitalism. I took to napping all over campus while in seminary and when I was home. I believed deeply that I would rest, because I was exhausted physically and spiritually, and I saw no other way to make it. I was beyond rational thought about whether I would be able to thrive from this and simply leaped without a net. I was fueled by the deep history of cultural trauma I was studying while in seminary. I was reading slave narratives while studying Jim Crow terrorism and falling asleep with the book on my chest. I was guided by Harriet Tubman, proclaiming after waking up from a prophetic dream, "My people are free." The audacity to proclaim freedom via rest in the now. Rest has been revolutionary for my soul. This book is a testimony and testament of my refusal to donate my body to a system that still owes a debt to my ancestors for the theft of their labour and dream space. I refuse to push my body to the brink of exhaustion and destruction. Let the chips fall where they may. I trust myself more than capitalism. Our refusal will make space for abundance. We will have to leap and trust rest. May the ground underneath hold us, and if we must collapse, may a soft pillow be there. This book is a scream on a bullhorn for the collective to join me in disrupting and pushing back. The Nap Ministry is a warm blanket swaddling us all back to our deepest selves, a more human place, a resting place. It is never easy to explain why I started the Nap Ministry. It is so layered, nuanced and organic. I have been asked the question of its origin thousands of times by strangers, journalists and social media followers. Everyone is thirsty for the quick details of why I would dream up a project about napping. I am elated the story has not been an easy and direct answer because, like decolonising, it will take enormous effort in the form of radical healing, change, redemption and collective care. Everything always starts with the personal. The origins of the Nap Ministry begin with the story of my family in fragmented parts. The micro-histories and small details of our lives hold the keys to our redemption. My rest resurrection begins with my desperation to find relief from my own exhaustion via curiosity, experimentation and self-preservation. I come from a legacy of exhaustion. My maternal grandmother, Aura, the muse of this work, a refugee from Jim Crow terrorism, rested her eyes every day for 30 minutes to an hour in an attempt to connect and find peace. My great-grandmother, Rhodey, I am told, stayed up late nightly on her farm in deep Mississippi with a pistol in her apron pocket to creatively solve any problems from the Ku Klux Klan. The reality of our survival from white supremacy and capitalism is deeply shocking to me. I am in awe at what our bodies can hold. We must lighten our loads. Survival is not the end goal for liberation. We must thrive. We must rest. As a child, I would watch my grandmother Aura as she sat on her plastic-covered yellow couch and meditated for 30 minutes every single day. She fled her home in Mississippi with thousands of other African Americans during the Great Migration of the 1950s. Aura floated up north on a spaceship built from uncertainty and hope as she landed in Chicago. She magically raised 8 children while dodging poverty, racism, and the invisibility of being a black woman in America. Her commitment to resting her eyes every day for 30 minutes was radical. Her ability to demand space to just be was a form of resistance. While my grandmother rested her eyes, I would tiptoe around her home trying not to wake her up. I always thought she was sleeping while sitting up. I was curious about her rest practice and thought she was so eccentric. Whenever I would inquire if she was sleeping, her response was always the same. Every shut eye ain't sleep. I am resting my eyes and listening for what God wants to tell me. While all the world around her was attempting to crush her spirit, she rested and resisted the beast of grind culture. She taught my mother to rest. She taught me to rest. I am humbled to be a vessel to guide thousands on their own rest journey as we embrace rest as a way to make us all more human. So I'll pause there and just follow up with, there's something about my own journey in learning how to rest more that has highlighted that we don't always need these stop-start specific slots of time either to rest. That there is a softening, a releasing that can happen in our cells and our tissues, that we can access that space of rest in any moment, regardless of what we're engaged in. So, wishing lots of rest and blessings to all.